Why are you like this? Just be normal.
I do this even when I'm by myself.
Bro, chill. It's not that deep.
All right. It's for my show, all right? I gotta decide.
You need to relax.
All right.
You should put this right in the beginning.
I normally do it. Then here we cut to the intro. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Danger Knock podcast. Today we got a special guest for a very special episode. My good friend, Safia Ghouse.
What's up, everybody? It's Safia here.
I was going to wait to see if you had any other introductory elements, but...
In the red corner, we have
that's pretty good.
Safia.
That's pretty good. Blue corner, which is... Listen, I'm doing her a favor because red's my favorite color, but I let her have it.
Because it matches my shirt.
Yeah.
UFC.
So this is the topic of our episode today.
UFC 319.
I forgot the number for a second. But...
you forget a lot of things.
Just a little background as to why we are interested in the UFC in the first place. We kind of wanted to get into kind of our history with mixed martial arts as a whole. I guess I could get it started. As a kid, I did get put into Taekwondo by my parents. And I feel like I didn't really learn that much. It was mostly just like...
It was kind of BS.
It was BS. And then they're like, hey, go like 1, 2, punch. And then they're like, okay, here's a green belt. And I was like, bro, I'm chilling. And they would have like these boards that they would have.
Yeah.
And, like, you'd punch it and it would break. And I'm like, am I a super soldier? And apparently they were like fake boards or something.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
All right. You should have been like, oh, damn, this kid's crazy.
I mean,
but
I think also like,
you know what?
Taekwondo,
it was bricks actually.
It's like commercialized, right? So it's like they want a lot of people to do it.
Listen, Master Shim was a real one and he wouldn't give me a bullshit belt, even though he was like 90 years old and probably didn't
He
even
just
know
wanted to get paid.
He probably didn't even know what Taekwondo.
With his day.
It wasn't like a mall.
They just want to make money.
It wasn't a mall, so I don't know. One might say a McDojo, but hey, listen, they're probably legit. But my parents wouldn't let me spar, but I got interested even more into the world of martial arts since then. And I kind of just attributed it to like my love for like comic books and how a lot of the characters that I like train in different martial arts, but they're kind of not as easy to grasp or understand for a person who's not really into the world. So that kind of led me to dive deep into it. But how did you kind of get into martial arts yourself? And what are kind of things that you kind of partook in?
So I never did martial arts as a kid. Like in high school, I did sports. So I did cross country, track, and badminton. So I've always been like into, sports in that sense and just being like an athlete. But then in college, you actually introduced me to boxing because it was something I was always interested in, but I never really knew how to get into it because it's not like people around me were boxing or into martial arts. So it was like very, very helpful that you told me like, hey, our school has like a boxing club. So we were actually able to do that. And it was a good experience, even though it was just like a bunch of college kids. So it's like, a fight club.
It quickly turned into just fight club. Yeah. And even our instructor would like beat us up and we're like, yo, I thought we were supposed to be learning something here.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I think it was like a great experience. And I think how you choose to go into it changes what you're going to get out of it. A lot of people will go into it either one, thinking that, they could beat anybody up, or two, use it as an excuse to kind of beat anybody up and not think of like their own ramifications of doing it. Like, I'm going to get hit as well. Yeah. And that kind of humbles you. Or it should humble you.
Yeah. It definitely humbled. I mean, I don't have like an ego with this type of stuff anyways. Like I honestly, like for martial arts for me, like especially more into it as an adult, for me, it's more about like the discipline of it. And I'm not someone who really even has an ego when it comes to this. Like I obviously want to do my best and be better than who I was yesterday. But a lot of it is also just like being disciplined and consistent and showing up. So that's like the aspect that I really like about it that really interests me. And also the self-defense aspect. I think that's really important for all women, especially Muslim women in this day and age where there's a lot of like Islamophobia. And like women, even Muslim women in hijabis are just getting attacked on the subway. But it's something that, now I'm very passionate about. So I'm happy that as an adult, like even after college, that I've continued training.
Yeah. I think that's a very important topic that you hit, because a lot of, especially in our culture, even doing something like this is frowned upon in the sense of, why are you partaking in violence for no reason? But the thing is that to truly study a martial art is to figure out what the capabilities of the human body is and when to use it. And you never know when you need to use something like that in terms of like self-defense or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's better, like they always say, it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war.
Yeah.
So it's better to know something and just be still a calm person and not look for violence.
Yeah.
But if the need arises, then you could do it.
And I feel like people who actually know how to fight are into the world of martial arts, and they are martial artists themselves. Like they're not out here looking for a fight. They're not out here being super angry at people. They're very like humble, calm people, and they just like read other people's like behavior and read situations correctly. And I think that's important. Like you shouldn't go into martial arts being like, oh, I want to beat people up, or you're always like angry. Like it's not a way for you to like get your anger out on people. It's genuinely just like an art to learn, and
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's normally, I think, across multiple martial arts, the higher someone is in their skill and experience, the less egotistical they become, and the less quote unquote dangerous they become, in the sense that a person who is a white belt who's trained for a little bit may think in their head, oh, I know more than the average person, and will be more willing to engage in a violent tendency to show off what they do. Whereas, like, let's say a black belt knows the true costs and ramifications of doing what you're doing, and will avoid that at all costs because they know the actual consequence. So
yeah. And black belts are so nice too. They like teach us how to do things, and they're so kind about it. They're not like trying to show off what they know, because they already know that they can do the things that like we're trying to learn. And they're just so nice and helpful, versus like someone who's like a white belt who's like starting off, like they might think like, oh, I could just like do this move and like treat it like it's a UFC, but it's not. This is not like UFC club.
For sure.
You have to have like respect for other people too when you do it, and be humble and like have like a learning mindset. Like I'm here to learn and ask questions, and I'm not here to just like beat people up or just try to do submissions and think this is like UFC Fight Club.
Yeah. And for context, Safia and I both kind of started our like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu journey around the same time, alongside doing Muay Thai. And just
boxing.
Yeah, and boxing. And just like interacting with people and learning more about the world. And like you said, going against like another white belt in, let's say, jiu-jitsu feels sometimes more dangerous, because they don't know if them spazzing out or rolling in a different way will like break your arm on accident, even when they didn't intend to. Whereas like a person who's a blue, purple, or brown belt will more likely know, take it slow, and then get to you to a point where it gives you enough time to tap.
Yeah.
As opposed to a white belt trying to prove something.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot about life in general too, where the more experience you have in something, the more humble you should be, because the more you know, the more you don't know, in a sense. And so I think that's kind of one of those life lessons that people who don't necessarily look at MMA in that like kind of positive light would be able to kind of benefit learning from, as opposed to thinking this is just an excuse to be violent.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if
there are people actually like at our gym who train, who are like newer. And this person in particular that I'm talking about is this guy who trains boxing and Muay Thai. And there are times where he's been like too violent when sparring, and he's doing things that he's not supposed to do, because this is like fundamentals class. And like you're supposed to be wearing like headgear and mouth guard and shin guards and everything. And they're doing that. But I think he like showed up one time trying to spar without any of that. And then our coach was like so upset by him, because he's like, why are you sparring people without the protective equipment? And then when he gets it on, he's just doing things like you're not supposed to be doing in a fundamentals class. And you're not respecting like other people's skill level, or even like what your coaches are telling you. Because again, in martial arts, you're supposed to be respecting your instructors. They're the ones teaching you, like they're guiding you. So I feel like he just you know, was using it as a way to like show off, oh, look what I can do.
Yeah.
You know, and just not having any respect at all and just doing dumb things. And then our coach humbled him in sparring, and then he just stopped.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the reasons why I like this gym a lot, is because they have like a 30-day kind of, they say like a trial, but ultimately what one of the coaches told me, that the 30 days is not to see if we like them, it's to see if they like us. And that's a big thing, because they'll see if people come in to use it as an excuse to like bully on people or make it a fight club, as opposed to actually learning, and they'll quickly get rid of someone like that. So I appreciate that, and they're like cognizant of like, this is ultimately for one's safety. So if you're not being safe and doing so, it defeats the whole purpose of this whole operation.
And they've thrown people out for that who are not following the rules.
Yeah.
So that's
that's why I appreciate it. And it's always important, like if anyone was listening was interested in finding their own gym, is to take time to research the gym, talk to the people who go there, and ultimately figure out the culture that's there and see if that's something that fits with you, and also something that you could be safe in partaking in. Because it is at its core dangerous, because that's the whole point, is managing danger in input and output, and to do that in a safe environment so you can learn for the future.
Yeah, and like how to react in certain situations.
Yeah. I know we touched on it a little bit. I don't know if you want to talk more about like the cultural aspect of it. But like, for example, even my parents, like I'm a guy, and they still are like, well, why would you do something like that? It's dangerous. And you're kind of, but I think they know me well enough to know that my interest is not in hurting other people. Like even when I'm training, if I do something on accident or even something on purpose, I'm like, I'm sorry, my bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And my partner's like, no, that's what you were supposed to do. And I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot that this whole operation was to, in some aspect, put the other person in pain. In a safe environment, and you tap or stop. But getting past that mindset, I think it's better to have that mindset as opposed to like, I want to hurt the person I'm going against. Because I've done lessons with people that's just, you're going through the motions of a specific move. And they're like choking the hell out of me. I'm like, yo, we're just going through lessons right now. Why are you like breaking my trachea right now?
We're just drilling, like, relax.
So, so I don't know if you wanted to talk about any of like your kind of experiences cultural wise with kind of you partaking in MMA and things like that.
Yeah, I would say like, as like a Desi Muslim woman, especially who wears hijab, that there are people who are definitely judgmental about it, even at our gym. And it's not who you would think would be judgmental about it. It's people who, it's like, Desi Muslim men at the gym who are just giving me like weird, funny looks. Like, like they're simply, I don't know, like shocked or annoyed by my presence, that I'm there, that I could be in the same space like that, training alongside them. And I know like some of them are religious, so maybe that might have something to do with it, but I'm not there with like bad intentions. Like, you know, I'm training, you know, with females as well. So it's not like I'm over here like coming up to you. I'm not doing it. You're not putting
them in an uncomfortable position. Your mere existence is making. It's not even uncomfortable. And not to make this the whole podcast, because we could. But ultimately, a lot of times people take it upon themselves that they're like going to police other people. And they'll never say this to a white American lady or anybody else. And they'll keep their thoughts to themselves. But with
they're
someone
literally
like you,
they're literally talking to like non-Muslim. Like they're talking to like,
they're trying to rizz up random people, and then all of a sudden you come in and they're like,
they're talking to girls.
Yeah,
but then they're looking at me weird, and I don't necessarily care to talk to you, but like, stop looking at me like that. I'm like, why are you mean mugging me?
Well, because it's like in their mind, it's their obligation to police, and it gives them a sense of like superiority, even if it's subconscious.
One of those weirdos even told me. He's so weird.
It's funny because I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's like he's always high or something. But he's just like, oh.
Hey, did you ever consider getting the hell out of here? Did you ever think of that as an option?
He was like, I think you would maybe feel more comfortable in an all women's gym. I'm like, bro, I didn't ask for your opinion.
Straight up.
Like, okay. I'm like, yo, but you know, people are very respectful here. Like, you know, everyone's been so helpful. They're very respectful. They've literally asked me like, hey, let us know if you need anything or if you're uncomfortable with anything or anyone, which I really appreciate. Like multiple people have told me that, including the coaches. They made it a point. And then I told him that, and he's like, yeah, you know, I was thinking about bringing my wife here. And this guy is like a Pakistani guy, like from Karachi. But well, he was born and raised here, like in the area, but his wife is from Karachi and she just moved like with him like last year, like over here.
Yeah. We might getting a little too detail oriented.
No. This is important. I'm not.
Okay, all right.
Let me say what I gotta say.
He's not watching this podcast.
I don't care if he's watching or not. I hope he watches. And then so basically he was
Subscribe.
like,
I'm just kidding.
like this video, comment, subscribe.
Don't comment. Just give me my likes and my subscribers.
Yes. So he was like, yeah, I want to bring my wife here to this gym and like, it's so inspirational. Like, or he didn't even say that. I don't want to give him credit for anything good, but he was just like, I want to bring my wife here and, like I wanted her to like train too, but I think maybe she wouldn't feel comfortable because, the women here don't really cover up that much. And I was like, actually,
everyone's dressed normally.
They're dressed normally in American society. Like you see women wearing like t-shirts and shorts that are honestly, most of the women they're wearing leggings. They're not even wearing shorts. They're wearing like leggings and long shirts. Like I haven't seen anyone dress crazy. Any woman there, they don't dress crazy. They dress
going
normal.
there for a job to do. They're not like
they're just training. But basically, he was like, oh, the women here, they're just kind of like not as covered up. So I don't think she would feel comfortable. And I was like, oh wait, but there's a hijabi here. Like there's a Muslim woman here. He's like, really? Who? And he's like looking at me asking that. And I'm like, me, like I'm fully covered.
He's like, oh, I almost forgot that you were a person and a human being.
Yeah. So it's stuff like that kind of like turn you off from like wanting to be around those people. But then you just learn to ignore it. And like, I don't really care. So, but it's funny because like all like the non-Desis and like there are like people who have like converted who are there who are like super nice, but the non-Desi people,
it's
non-Muslims,
a cultural thing.
Like they're so nice to me. They're actually like extremely nice and helpful and will teach me things. So I found that very surprising. But I think culturally it's really disappointing that like people will look down on women for even trying to like be wanting to take care of themselves and wanting to exercise and do things like martial arts.
Or
like,
God forbid, defend themselves when the need arises from people such as them.
Exactly. Like it sucks, honestly. But whatever. I just choose to ignore it and I'm just going to do what makes me happy.
Well, part of martial arts generally is more than just the physical, it's the mental.
Yeah.
So not only humbling yourself, but also being aware of your surroundings and navigating and managing your like kind of emotional levels. And that's not like, I would say men need to hear that a lot more. The I see red men.
Yeah.
Like, oh, bro, if I see red, like, wallah, bro, I'll go off. Like, no. And that's the thing is like about martial arts. You come in thinking you know like how to do certain things. And for me, the more I train, the less confident I am in fighting someone because I know that like, oh, what if they do such and such? I didn't train in that.
Yeah.
But before training, I'm like, man, I'm going to do like some John Wick maneuvers and pull it off.
Yeah.
But, that's, I think, the beauty of martial arts is to kind of weed those kind of people out. And hopefully it doesn't kind of further their, I guess, violent tendencies, but it helps them manage that for the future.
Yeah. And the martial arts community in general is very, like, it's very great. Everyone is super helpful. They're humble. They're always like there for you to ask questions. So overall, I think I've had a very positive experience. It's just those like one-off situations about like the Desi cultural aspect of people judging because I train martial arts.
So I think that's kind of a good segue into how we kind of wanted to like base this whole episode around UFC 319. And a lot of our interest in it came from the fighters themselves. And I guess the biggest, like the main event being Dricus du Plessis versus Khamzat Chimaev. A lot of this kind of like cultural stuff wraps up into that as well in terms of like the excitement and the buildup for a fight, especially like within Chicago. But just to kind of get into it, first of all, just the fight in general, I'm like, this is something as like people who are fans of MMA such as us, like we can't miss it because I think the last time the UFC was in Chicago was like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
So
who knows when they'll be here next?
Yeah. And I guess COVID may have had an aspect to it, but one thing about it, like Chicago is the top 3 cities in the world. And I would arguably say top 2 because LA is just like an amalgamation of a bunch of smaller cities. So I think in terms of actual major cities, it's like New York and Chicago. So why would they not have more fights here? So Dana White figured that out.
Yeah, you need more fights here.
But there was like a lot of hype with Khamzat coming here, because I think there's like a large Muslim population in Chicago. So there was a lot of buildup. And I think it was like the perfect place to have a fight with him and DDP here in Chicago. So that was very exciting to have all of that buildup. And Safia and I, at the start of it, were on like kind of different spectrums of like who we're voting for. Me personally, when it comes to like a lot of like the Muslim fighters, I like most of them. But when it comes to rooting for fighters, I root for a lot of like the American fighters, just because I feel like I relate to them more in terms of like how they operate, how they talk, and how they kind of go about themselves. But I'm a big fan of Khabib and Islam Makhachev. And Safia is a fan of them too. Yeah. But also was a fan of Khamzat in the beginning. But I think this fight taught us a lot more about these fighters, kind of even their personal lives and how things are not always what they seem on the surface. And so luckily we had the opportunity to kind of have a connection to kind of meet some of the fighters where they were staying at here in Chicago. And being immersed in that world kind of really changes your perspective on like the day-to-day operations of what it is to be a fighter and what kind of life that entails. So going into this fight, I was rooting for a DDP just because I was like, Khamzat Chimaev, in my mind, is like an over-the-top kind of guy. And I like that to some degree. I just didn't like kind of how he would integrate kind of being Muslim into being over the top and crazy and quote unquote, as he says, psycho. But seeing them in person kind of changes my perspective on it. But before we get into the main guys, I think I want to talk about for a little bit the kind of prelim fighters and the people who are more like on the come up. And then at the end, we can talk about the major co-main and main event fighters. But I don't know, Safia, if you wanted to talk about like kind of some of the kind of top interactions that you might have had with some of the non-main event fighters.
Yeah, honestly, like they were really nice. Like I just went up to them and I'm like, or you actually went up to them for me because I was like kind of shy. But then, you know, I was next to you and we were like, yeah, can we get pictures? And they were like, yeah, of course. And they were so nice. Like I didn't really expect that because, you know, like when you think of UFC fighters, like you're not thinking
rugged, like, mean, aggressive, violent.
Yeah. So, you know, that was just like my perception, I guess. But then they were actually just like normal people. Like they're so nice and willing to take pictures. And even when we took pictures with DDP, like he was so nice about it. And his team was like, oh, like do you want like they were taking multiple pictures.
They came up to us knowing that we were kind of
like wanting to take pictures.
And we wanted to. We're leaving it in. There's apparently bringing a dogfight outside.
Yeah. DDP
Bro, first of all, talk about people not training themselves. People need to train their dogs, but that's a whole other story.
They do.
All right, I think we're good now. Yeah. But I think that honestly, a lot of these fighters were literally sweethearts.
Yeah.
They were literally just like
they're so nice.
They were literally like the nicest people in the world, nicer than regular people are.
Yeah.
And maybe that's something to say about martial arts in general.
Yeah.
Like, in my opinion, training it ultimately for the majority of people makes you a better person. It makes you more even keeled, and people who have not gotten hit in the face are so excited to get angry and get aggro and whatever. But the people who know the actual consequences of being an angry or mean person, like, and the consequences of violence are more even keeled and nice. But I think my favorite interaction was with Michael Venom Page.
Yeah.
Literally just...
I didn't even know that he like became Muslim.
Yeah, so he was like saying like assalamu alaikum to us, and I was like caught off guard. I was double caught off guard because I didn't even know he was British, to be honest. So maybe I'm a fake fan.
I didn't know. He didn't sound like it when I heard him in person, but yeah, he was really nice and respectful too, and like knowing that I'm a fellow sister was like, you know, had his arms like crossed like this, like the respectful stance when taking a photo. So,
but very smiley, super nice. Like, he had such a smile of light up a room. Like he was
I
so
love
nice.
his smile. He has the best smile, honestly. He was so like funny and just
stopping with everybody to take a picture.
Yeah,
and
multiple
like
times. He took pictures with people multiple times, and some people. Do I want to name who? Arman.
Oh yeah, like
Arman would not take photos with anybody.
Yeah,
he was like there were like no photos, no videos, and Hamza was like that too, like his security guard. Like there was obviously a bunch of men trying to take pictures with Hamza, and then his security guard was like, no photos, no videos, and like one of my guys is going to come after you if you try to take a picture with him or something. Yeah. So people would just try to like record him from a distance, and like Arman was kind of like that too, like no photos and videos. But then here you have like people like DDP and
really walking
MVP.
around by himself.
Yeah, they're just like taking photos multiple times with people. I thought that was really nice, and they have like their fights and they're still taking the time to like greet people and shake hands, and very respectful.
And I think having this experience of meeting the fighters also made the actual UFC 319 kind of more involved. I feel like we were part of the world. We were like, oh, we met this person and they were very nice. We're rooting for them. It makes you.
And most of the people that we took pictures with, they actually won.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
the fighting nerds.
I guess we're just good luck. Yeah. But yeah, almost everyone was very nice. And going into it, it's funny because I had already thought that I already in my mind was like, I'm going to root for DDP. But then meeting him, he was so humble and so nice. And he was like rolling with like 2 people. And they came up to us and asked if we wanted to take pictures because they know that we were kind of like hanging in the distance.
Yeah,
like,
he shook our hands too.
Yeah, super nice. Honestly, I should have given him some advice. Like, just freaking when Hamza goes for a takedown, just hit in the knee. But we'll talk about that.
And honestly, like I understand like why I guess like Hamza like didn't want pictures and videos, and his security guard said it's because the entire hotel is like his home. And I guess I can understand like you're coming from another country, you know, like you want your privacy, and at the same time like you're preparing for the biggest fight of your life at the current moment. Yeah. So you do kind of want to be in the mindset of like blocking everybody else out. But at the same time, I was like a little disappointed because, you know, like there's such a large Muslim community that's like rooting for him. And you would think like, I don't know, I guess I just kind of revert to the Khabib in Islam. Like
he's part of that same
ilk. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, oh, they're so humble and they take pictures with everybody, and you know, and I kind of thought like he would do the same thing. But I can understand both perspectives. Like I get it, but I was also kind of disappointed.
In the moment, if I'm going to be completely honest, like seeing him roll around with like 50 plus people and everyone else is rolling around by themselves, and then his security, like him being the only one with security saying no pictures, like, and being kind of like.
Just like not
standoffish and not kind of really engaging, and not that he has an obligation to engage, but kind of having like an air of extra confidence walking around knowing that he's not engaging with the people kind of turned me off. Even like I wasn't even necessarily rooting for him in the first place. And so I had even more of like a notion like of rooting against him. But beyond that, doing more research about like where he's coming from, like there's a lot of geopolitical aspects of it that where there might be a reason why he needs more security around him, or there may be a reason why all these people are surrounding him may not even be his friends, but are just like obligated to kind of be around him. And who knows if this is how he truly kind of wants to operate, but it may be that he has to operate that way. So in the moment I was like, man, screw this guy. Like he's not even like taking a picture or whatever. But
I think I was mostly salty that I wanted a photo. I'll admit it. Yeah. But also like just the way he was walking around, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, he did like look at us a lot because like, do you want to talk about the weight part?
Oh yeah. So being in this, like around like fighters, we got to see a lot of them trying to make weight for the fight and stuff like that. And it's interesting to see like the real feel of these people walking around severely dehydrated, borderline malnourished. And for context, for people who may not be that into kind of either fight sports, is that a lot of fighters, the weight that they walk around at is not the weight that they necessarily quote unquote fight at. So for example, Hamza might weigh 210 pounds in his daily life. But for this fight, he has to get down to, I believe it was 185. And a lot of times they're already lean when they're at 200. So to get to 185, they're severely dehydrating themselves and severely like malnourishing themselves to the point where they can make that weight. And then in that one day before the fight, they'll try to gain that back. But for a lot of fighters, it's not even necessarily that healthy to do so, especially multiple times in their career.
And we saw one of them, it really affecting them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just, you realize that there's so much into the fight sports than just that. And to kind of have expectations of how these people should operate with you, bro. If I don't even have, like, if I'm like, don't have a lunch, I'm like, damn, I'm going to get, like, I mean, you get hangry for sure. But these people are like really dehydrated and everything.
Yeah.
So for them to like still be like happy and nice to us,
Yeah.
for us to have that expectation is kind of asking for a lot.
Despite that, like, they were still like willing to take pictures, and they were still like nice, and they're like, yeah, sure. And they were like in the middle of like drinking some like hydration drink and just,
Yeah.
you know, to take a picture with us. And
But-
like one of the fighters that we saw who like I felt really bad for, like he looked like he was really affected by it. Like he was just like looking really tired and dehydrated, just like kind of collapsed, like just like laying on the floor, like, and his team is like lifting him up. And I felt so bad because
Yeah.
I can't even imagine like having to go through that.
Yeah, and I think even beyond just the weight cutting stuff and meeting these people, I think in terms of the conversation of our expectations of fighters before the fight, one thing, especially if we'll get into it with like with Khamzat and DDP, is being in the Chicagoland area. There's like a lot of a Muslim population, and a lot of them are rooting for Khamzat at a base level just because he's Muslim, which 100% totally understandable. And I agree to like a lot of extent. But I think it's just the way that someone carries themselves is more important than just the label of what religion that they are. And I wasn't personally a big fan of just kind of making statements like, oh, I'll kill everyone, Allahu Akbar, and stuff like that. I feel like if you just said, I'll kill everyone, all right, fine.
Yeah.
You could do that. That's like Conor McGregor just talking shit.
Yeah.
And even then, that's past a certain degree. But I think roping kind of religion into it and then trying to be on the flip side, like, oh, I'm religious, but then saying kind of antithetical things to that is kind of like hypocritical. And I don't really kind of feel like I associate with that.
Yeah, like I feel like you shouldn't be using God's name and then saying I'm going to kill everyone. That's like the opposite thing of what you're supposed to do, especially as a Muslim. And like what I like about Khabib and Islam is that like they'll say Alhamdulillah for everything, like God gave me everything, and they're always like pointing to themselves, and they're like, no, they're like you know, like it's everything is because of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I feel like, you know, when you're going to say like Allahu Akbar and then the crowd is like cheering, it kind of scares people who are like not Muslim, who don't really like realize like, oh, they're thinking like, oh, this is like dangerous. I feel like it just gives a bad image as like to Muslims. And as Muslims, like, I don't agree with saying I want to kill everybody. But I guess like, I know he's saying it to be like hype.
Yeah. It's not like necessarily literal.
Yeah.
But it's just like,
but you have to be careful.
It's a weird kind of conjunction of words
you have to
putting in like Islamic terminology with kind of weird statements like that, or saying things like, oh, like girls like terrorists or things like that.
Yeah, in like interviews, weird. Like multiple times too.
Yeah.
And that like scares people too. And like, I mean, I know he's like joking, but at the same time, you have to be very careful with what you say, especially because you're like, now you're a champion. So
especially in this climate.
And especially with like what's going on in the world, like you have to help people realize like what Islam really is about. And I mean, I don't know. I feel like you just have to be careful with what you say.
And I think it's even more dangerous than just kind of considering what non-Muslim people think of it. I think it's just as, if not more dangerous, that young Muslim people, especially young Muslim men, are looking at this and looking up to it in a sense, like, oh, yeah, this is how we should operate. We should be saying things like this. I'm like, no, obviously not.
Yeah.
But you're establishing yourself as a kind of like a role model to these people, whether you like to or not. And these people are so impressionable. So like everyone cheering that on when he says these things, I'm like, yo, are you even thinking about what he's actually saying? Like, are you thinking about Islam in that moment? Are you thinking about, oh, this is my cool squad and we get to say crazy things? Like, are you trying to incite jihad at UFC 319? Probably not. And like, that's, I think, a core of kind of why, even before all of this, I just kind of I respect Khamzat's like abilities to the utmost degree. Like his fighting skills is like very dominant and he's super talented. But like to that degree, I'm like, I can't be a fan of the person, right, who's being the fighter in that same regards, especially when so many of the non-Muslim people are showing so much more humility and being nice. Like my favorite fighters are like Max Holloway and Dustin Poirier, and they're like universally loved in the MMA community. And it's not about them necessarily kind of bringing their religion to it in all facets, but just being humble and then caring about like the fights. The fight is the fight, and that's it.
Yeah.
And beyond that, like, it's good. And I think also, not to like kind of just bag on Khamzat, I think he has a lot of that in him. But I think in this road to the title, and especially where he's from and all the things that go into that, it rolls into the kind of character that he's building. So, because there's a lot of moments where he's shown like kind of real humility, and he's mentioned things in the world that are like going bad. So I like him for that kind of
And he
stuff.
has like humble beginnings. Like he slept in a gym for many years. And, you know, he even mentioned like, I'm trying to make money for my mom and my sister. And I think that's very admirable. And those are like very good traits and qualities. So, but overall, like, again, you have to be careful with what you say and how you're like representing.
Yeah.
Is everything good, by the way?
No, I was just checking that. I was seeing what time it is on the recording.
Oh, is the mic fine?
Yeah.
You're going to cut this part out.
Yeah, everything's fine.
Oh, yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah. It was cool, though, to see him, like, we saw him, like, walk back and forth multiple times from, like, the, like, hotel, like, the elevators to, like, make weight. So it was cool to see that process.
Yeah.
And he was, like, walking around, like, macho.
And props to him. He was 2 pounds under the weight limit.
Yeah.
Which I think he's had issues with making weight. And because he's a big dude.
Yeah.
So
wasn't he like 8 pounds overweight for one fight? Or am I
don't know. That's crazy. 8 pounds.
Okay, maybe
probably
not.
But,
maybe not. I got to look into it. But he was overweight for one fight.
In general, too. Like,
yeah, he got
COVID. And then I think they turned into long COVID. So, like, he had symptoms
sick.
And he had to have, like, surgery to kind of fully recover from that.
Yeah, so that's why after every fight, like, his mom makes him, like, call him immediately after.
Yeah.
So after this fight, he called his mom, he FaceTimed or called his mom immediately after.
So, yeah. So with Khamzat, it's very, like, with me, like, my not relationship with him, but my kind of relationship to my kind of fandom with him, it very fluctuates a lot. Because at one point, I'll see something, I'm like, girl, well, this guy's crazy. What is he saying? Like,
I'm gonna kill
what the hell? Like, but then another video I see, he's like, oh, you know what? This guy's all right.
Yeah,
he's a pretty chill guy.
Sometimes I'm like, dang, I
think a lot of things that I like about him, I think are probably his core values, and a lot of things I don't like about him are probably the product of his environment.
Yeah.
So, because even like he doesn't even necessarily even care about the belt in all aspects.
He's like, give me my money. I care more about that than this belt.
Like, this freaking shit belt.
And then Dana White's just like, what?
Yeah. So I think that's kind of just preliminary how our thoughts were going in the fight. But it was a nice surprise to even see like DDP be as humble as he was. And like, he's literally the champ, but walking around like he's just a civilian.
Yeah.
So cool. I like that.
Yeah.
But I think that's a good segue into kind of the actual UFC 319 itself.
Yeah.
Which I don't think I've ever been to a spectacle like that. Like, I've been to many Bulls games. I've been to like other sporting events, but this literally felt like what it probably felt like to be in like ancient Rome with gladiators. Like, you're just seeing people in a cage fighting. And I think part of me was kind of reverting to that, the outside kind of mentality of UFC. I'm like, this is kind of violent and crazy when you think about it, that we're just watching two people.
Like, you see people getting knocked out and people are cheering. And like, in reality, like, you'd be like, whoa, like, that's crazy. Like, are you okay? But then everyone's like, yeah.
Everyone's like screaming.
Everyone's so happy. And I'm like, dang, I'm like, I hope that person's okay.
Yeah, whenever someone got knocked out, which they did a lot in this card because this card was crazy, my first reaction was like, oh, damn, that's like nuts. And I hope that they're okay.
Yeah.
But then you watch the replay and you're like, but the technicality of how the other guy facilitated the knockout was so impressive that it's like, but I don't find like kind of joy in like, oh, someone got knocked out.
Yeah, I felt, even Aaron Pico.
Yeah.
Like, he had to go to the hospital after. So, and he even was, you know, that wasn't my best fight, but I'll be back stronger. And sometimes like those things kind of alter like a fighter's life. Like, they don't come back 100%. It really changes their lives. So,
yeah.
And I hope like, you know, people who do get knocked out, like, you know, we feel bad for them. We hope they're okay. We're not like, yeah, like get knocked out, kill them. Like we're like, dang, I hope you're all fine. And
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, let me go ahead.
All right.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Knock me out.
Spinning elbow. I was saying that like seeing these fights in person, it was like in us like training martial arts, it allows us to appreciate the art more because I'm able to recognize like certain movements and like, you know, like close guard, half guard, submissions, like different positions. Like I'm able to like recognize those now actually like training, and it makes you like appreciate like these fighters more and have respect for them. Like, wow, they really trained so long just for this. So that's something I want to mention.
Yeah. And there's like a part of training, like when we train, that when you see like actual UFC fighters fight, it's easier to not only emulate what they're doing because you can like, oh, I saw someone do that, but it also shows you the importance of each little thing. Like the importance of footwork, the importance of keeping your guard up because you'll get caught in something that will hurt you.
Yeah.
So it's so much mental aspects to it. And a lot of it's like, even in training, our coach would be like, do this, this, and then this. And it comes to actually like implementing it. I'm like, bro, what the hell did he just say?
Yeah.
And there's so much mental aspect of like remembering strategies and stuff like that. That's just even for repeating steps again and again for a specific lesson. And then that's not even to mention when it comes to actual sparring or fighting, that now you have to take all of that, pull it from your brain at the correct time, at the correct moment to either do damage to the person you're going against or to protect yourself.
Yeah.
And it's just like having that database. There's so much intelligence that goes into this. Like a lot of people say fight IQ.
Yeah.
Where you don't have to hit the strongest or the fastest all the time, but being the most accurate and having the best timing will put you over the edge.
Yeah. And that's like seeing like the Hamzat and DDP fight. Like obviously in the moment we were like,
damn, just get off of him. Stop kneeing him in the butt.
Yeah. Like knee butts. Like, come on, just like do something. But then like you realize like
what it takes to do that to a grown man just as big as you.
Yeah.
Like, that's impressive.
Yeah. And I honestly have respect for Hamzat's like fighting style. Like that's like very, I don't even know like how DDP could have gotten out of that. I mean, he should have trained for that, obviously. Like he could have, but
I'm saying right here, like I've seen videos of DDP's coach. Excuse my language, what a dumbass.
Yeah.
Didn't teach him anything on how to prevent any of what Hamzat is going to do 100%.
Yeah.
It's not like you're mixing it up and you're going to expect something different. Hamzat's going to shoot for a takedown within the first 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Your whole training camp should just be that. DDP spent his whole life striking and being good at that. You don't need to focus your whole training camp on that. And they were like, oh no, if Hamzat takes us down, we'll be ready.
But you weren't. But he did. But he had really good.
He survived.
He had really good conditioning.
Yeah.
Like he took it all 5 rounds, like very well.
Didn't get submitted.
Yeah.
Even
though he was in like crucifix, like
ate a bunch of shots, but didn't
knee butts constantly.
And so I think one of DDP's issues is that he has a lot of value in training out of South Africa, but I think the difference is that the people like Hamzats and the Khabibs and the Islams, they train in an area where everyone is like them. So the competition and the training is elevated. They're going against like beasts in that field.
They pride themselves in wrestling. Like
that's their whole life.
For them, wrestling is like water. Like the men in Dagestan, at least like from the, you know, the interviews and stuff that I've seen, like it's like for them, like wrestling is like what a man does to protect their family.
Core. Yeah.
And it's also a way for them to also get like young kids kind of like off the streets and like get into wrestling and getting into like fighting and like or professional fighting. So it's like a way for it's a very big value for them. And the whole world sees like, oh, you know, these professional MMA fighters coming from Dagestan, like they're the best at what they do, especially at wrestling.
Yeah. And so if you're a DDP and you're going against someone like that, you have to, first of all, in one training camp, it's going to be impossible to make up that distance in terms of level of training, but at least get somebody in there.
Yeah.
Like a person like Kamaru Usman, who fought against Khamzat Chimaev, is a wrestler. And so he was able to sprawl and prevent takedowns and survive and kind of get out of things. If you're a DDP, like you gotta train that religiously with people who take that seriously.
Yeah.
And I think he should fire his coach, like seriously, and potentially either bring people to come into South Africa to train with him who are specialists in this field, or go out and explore and train with other people in the world. Like,
Yeah.
and because that's the only way you could, like, because Khamzat is leagues above everybody else in wrestling, and he didn't even have to submit. Like, if Khamzat just got him in a crucifix and didn't even punch him, he would technically still win, which is kind of the argument of like, oh, this is boring. And I think there's two fields of thought with that. Is that one, yes, it is boring, but it is still MMA. It's the mixed martial art.
Yeah.
And if you don't have an answer for it, that's your fault.
Yeah. And if you can recognize the stuff that he was doing, like,
do something about it.
Yeah. And
he did the same thing 5 rounds. Switch it up.
Yeah.
Do a defense. At least take a risk.
It's not easy either.
Throw a knee.
Yeah. It's like, I have like respect for like his fighting style, honestly. Like him as like a fighter. Like the things that he was doing, it's really not easy. But obviously DDP should have been more prepared for that and watched his videos, because he's been doing this. Hamza's been doing this for all his life, like wrestling and training out of Chechnya. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Chechnya.
So like the competition there is going to be leagues above everybody else. So you have to make up that ground. So, I mean, I love DDP. I think he was very humble in defeat. And I think even Khamzat was very kind of humble in winning too. He called DDP an African lion.
Oh, yeah, that was really nice of
funny.
him. Yeah.
I think they never even really had like beef with each other.
Yeah,
Like,
I think it
job.
was just part of like the whole hype behind it.
And
Oh
that's
yeah,
part of the fun.
and like after one of the rounds, they even just like
They just like fist bumped. And I love that more than people hating each other. I like, even if they're talking shit or whatever in a fight, I like afterwards when there's like a camaraderie, because there is a certain brotherhood in being in a field where not like a very small percentage of people will ever experience being an MMA fighter.
Yeah.
So there has to be some kind of bond or camaraderie there, because only you two experienced what other people don't.
Yeah.
So
at the end of the day, they're doing a job.
Yeah.
You know?
And so
like there's no reason to hate each other, truly.
Yeah. Not like when Khabib was fighting Conor, and Conor.
There's a reason for that.
Conor rage baited him
to a degree, and disrespected
he
his father, and he disrespected his religion. He disrespected Islam.
Yeah, and Conor is a good kind of like example of like what I don't want Khamzat to become.
Yeah,
because early life Conor in his career was not necessarily like that.
Yeah,
he had like a slick tongue, and he would like talk smack, but he had humility to him, and he had like class.
He was a guy that like you would be rooting for.
Yeah, I rooted for him.
Yeah, me too.
Because I was like, this guy is a great striker, and he's very confident, and he has like he's like a cool aura to him. But then sometimes people take that too far, and you need like a person like Khabib
to their head,
bring you down to earth.
Yeah.
And so when I wasn't even necessarily even rooting for Khabib in that fight, but after the fight, I was like, yeah, you know what? Honestly, after everything Conor said, and you deserve to get smashed.
Yeah.
And then
I'm gonna smash your boy.
For Khabib to
Alhamdulillah, tomorrow night I'm gonna smash your boy, guys. I'm gonna smash your boy.
Be like, let's talk now. Like,
yeah.
All that stuff you're portraying, it all goes away.
And Khabib didn't even like really talk smack to Conor too. Like even in the press conference, he's like, "You're gonna see it all in the cage.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna let my actions speak."
Yeah, which is why I like Khabib a lot.
Yeah,
I like Islam as well. I like that whole crew.
Yeah, the Dagestan.
And I love I like when they interact with like the Americans as well. Like Daniel Cormier, for example. I love his relationship with the Dagestani boys.
Yeah,
it's just I don't even know another word for it, but it's just cute. It's so cute, like how they interact. They're like brothers.
Yeah,
from completely different parts of the world, completely different upbringings, but their bond of MMA and wrestling brings them together.
Yeah, he even sent his kids to Dagestan to train, right?
No, I think they want him to go.
Oh, I thought DC did.
Oh, I know, you're right. Yeah, he's like when my boys went to Dagestan, they smashed. It sounds like smash. What are you talking about?
And guess what? You guys know when my kids went to Dagestan. When my kids went to Dagestan, we smashed. When my kids went to Dagestan, we smashed.
But
he was like, smash?
Yeah. But that's how you know, like, they have a relationship that's more than just, like, professional, cordial. They're like brothers.
Yeah.
They, like, talk smack to each other. They grab each other, throw them out. But at the end of the day, they have so much respect for each other.
Yeah. And DC is the one who, like, calmed down Khabib after that Conor fight, too.
And I think that's a testament, especially as a person who didn't necessarily always kind of fit in culturally with people you would think I would. I always find kind of happiness and excitement when I feel people of different cultures getting together.
Yeah.
And it makes me more happy than just necessarily people of the same culture sticking around.
Yeah.
So that's why I love like Daniel Cormier and the Dagestani boys, because it gives me like, I guess, hope in humanity or whatever. Not that there would be anything
like this is a sport
that,
that brings people together.
Yeah. And
despite it being like violent or like aggressive, but it still does bring people together, which is why there's such a great community behind it. I think some of the best people are from the martial arts community, and you can meet some really great people who have like, you can even meet UFC fighters and like martial art gyms, because it's a pretty small community. Yeah.
And I think that aspect of it changes like our perspective of us being like actual training, and in the sense of being in that world to some degree, obviously not to the same level as actual fighters, but there is a certain kind of like brotherhood, sisterhood, camaraderie that you have knowing that another person went through similar things that you did.
Yeah.
If you're
like to your opponents too, like you have respect for them.
If you meet someone who does jiu-jitsu, you know that person knows how it feels to be put in an armbar.
Yeah.
You have at least that shared kind of experience, or getting punched in the face, for example. Whereas people in their daily lives always are trying to find things that are different.
Yeah.
But going to an MMA kind of centered environment, whether that be with the fighters or like if we've been to like a jiu-jitsu tournament, just watching and observing, you could talk to anybody and have a shared kind of like experience.
I thought it was interesting too, like when we were at the UFC fight, like the fans' reaction to certain people who are fighting and who they were rooting for. You can tell like there was just like booing at the things that like we thought were cool because we can recognize it because we train, versus people who are booing because, oh, this is boring. But it's like, wait, they're doing like, they're mounting this person and they're trying to put them in a submission, and like it takes time to get there because the other person's like resisting or trying to sweep them. But like a lot of casuals, I guess, like they don't recognize that. So they're just booing because they just want to see blood or they want to see someone get knocked out. But we're actually appreciating the art of it. And then them just rooting for like random people because they're like, USA. Like, did you notice that?
Yeah, there was a lot of
and then we wouldn't be rooting for the necessarily not because
I do. If I don't know anybody, I'm rooting for USA.
Yeah,
to be honest.
Yeah.
But
the people we were rooting for were the people that we actually like met.
Yeah.
But they weren't like from the fighting nerds.
A lot of Brazilians and stuff.
Yeah, and they were like, people weren't rooting for her or whoever was fighting who were from the fighting nerds. They were rooting for like the other person because like, oh, USA or something. And I was like, dang, I met this person actually pretty chill.
Yeah, and even if someone was like getting clinched or put up against the fence, the crowd didn't even give them 1 second.
They would just start
booing automatically. Like, do you not care about like the thing, like the whole the art form, the sport, at all? And then there was like people sitting in front of us who got up in the middle of the DDP like Chimaev fight.
Yeah.
Oh, what's the point? What's the point?
Like,
of
why are you making me get out of my seat? I'm not gonna like miss a second of this.
But they're just like, oh, I'm gonna get popcorn right now at this moment,
and you have to get out of your seat, and I'm like, that's ridiculous.
For them, it's just
sit down and watch.
It's just a spectacle. The sport doesn't matter to them, and it's just all just like, it's like them watching like the Avengers or whatever. Like, I mean, I would sit for that too.
Yeah,
but that's not a good example. Bad example. But it's a person who doesn't care about it. They're like dragged along because this is like a dinner and a show.
Yeah.
Whereas like a lot of other people are actual like fans of the sport.
And it'd be surprising to see like the people who are not like necessarily like Muslim, they're like rooting for Hamzat. And it's because like he created that whole like persona of like, I'm a psychopath, I'm gonna kill
people like that. He's like the Joker. Like some people root for the Joker to some degree.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, I find that interesting. Like the people you don't think would root for him were rooting for him.
Yeah.
So he created a lot of like hype, and he has a lot of fans
and on the
who
flip
aren't
side,
even Muslim.
People were looking at us
like we were weird.
Why are you rooting for DDP?
Yeah, they were surprised. Like we were like DDP, and they got quiet. They're like, huh? Like aren't you guys Muslim?
Even online, like I would post like, okay, DDP is gonna get and still, and he's gonna win, and people like are like, why are you like rooting for him?
Yeah.
Like I'm like, oh, God forbid I care about someone's character and the rest of their life as opposed to kind of just the religion that they follow.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily like know exactly
what he's up to.
Yeah, what Hamza's character is even, and necessarily like what he has to go through.
Or even DDP on the flip side, he could be a weirdo too. But
like I don't know what they go through on a day-to-day basis. I don't know them as people, but all I know is like the interactions that I had and just how they were kind of, I guess, like portrayed and their character, you know? So I think that's like a big part of like why I was, you know, rooting for DDP. A lot of it was like the character and the way that like they were acting. So
yeah, but ultimately I think just the experience of going to UFC 319 was unreal. They had a lot of cool merch.
Very expensive.
But it was just nice to see that the like Chicago kind of vibe or like culture be attached to UFC.
Yeah.
And the way that they went really hard into kind of establishing that, it made me feel like really happy because like obviously I love the city of Chicago and I love martial arts. So to see that kind of come together was like very nice to see. And then the actual spectacle of it, of seeing the fights and all of the special effects they do, like the intro music, and to be in that environment, like the energy is literally electric. Like I spent a lot of my life just watching from home and getting hype at home.
Yeah.
But the whole crowd yelling and screaming with you or against you or however that may be, is just, you can't replicate that.
Yeah. I think it was really cool seeing it in person, and every single UFC fan should have the opportunity to see a UFC fight in person. A lot of them are like in Vegas or in the Middle East, but whenever they're here, I think it's such a great opportunity for anybody to be able to go in person to see it. If you're like someone who really cares, or like you're a real fan. Yeah. Which we are real fans.
Yeah.
But we're not experts.
Yeah. Definitely not experts, but we have a respect for the art and the sport and the fighters themselves.
The fighters. I have respect for all of the fighters.
Yeah. To put yourself in that position, especially for our like kind of like Roman entertainment of like, oh, kill each other, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Like they're putting their lives on the line and not even getting paid, most of them, as much as you might think.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're doing all that for our entertainment is like a respect at a baseline.
Yeah.
And then from there, a lot of these things about like their personal lives is, like I said, their personal lives. It's hard to kind of dictate on that. Some people I genuinely don't like by how they act, and I've already seen enough. But for a lot of other people, or like fighters, or even just celebrities in general, there's a lot of nuance to life in general, and to not necessarily hate on someone so much or put someone on a pedestal so much, and kind of look at it to some degree of kind of
like
that they're just humans.
Like you can like respect like the work they do and they put in, and like the art that they create. But if they have like certain character and personalities that aren't exactly nice or what like align with your values, it's okay to like disagree with that. But you
not associate yourself.
Yeah, but you still have respect for like their art that they create and like what, you know, their training.
Yeah. But I don't know if there's anything else you want to talk about, but I think we covered a lot of
Did we go
things.
through everything?
Yeah, we hit the bottom of our thing a long time ago.
With a giant team, very restrictive. Should we talk about anything about the other fighters, like the pre-fights?
Oh yeah, we could talk about. So I think we could talk about.
Oh, Baisangur.
Oh,
I love Baisangur.
Well, Baisangur Susarkayev was literally.
He's so humble and nice.
He was so humble, nice, and
he took pictures with everybody multiple times.
Yeah, and he was coming off of like he fought like 4 days ago.
Yeah. 4 days before the UFC 319 fight, he was on Dana White's Contender Series.
Yeah.
And he asked Dana, like, you know, in 4 days, like, give me someone to fight. And they gave him, who was it, Eric Nolan?
I think it was like Chris Nolan or Eric Nolan, but Nolan for sure.
Christopher Nolan.
No, not Christopher Nolan.
Yo, what's wrong with us? Why did we not look this up before?
And the Dark Knight was in there.
Anyways, but yeah, and then 4 days later, like he even had said in an interview, it was like hard, like, you know, but he did it. And what was it, rear naked choke submission? Like that was a very good fight. I really respect his fighting style and him as a person. His character is very good. And I just seeing him in person, just always smiling at people, taking pictures with everyone. I think he has a very great character.
Yeah, he was super nice and awesome. Michael Venom Page put on an amazing fight. He won, but he was also very
humble,
nice, respectful.
I like his like funny fighting style.
Yeah.
Like rage baiting style, but it's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like
it's
funny.
funny.
He does like funny moves.
And he's putting himself at risk by not defending properly. So he's
Yeah.
being entertaining for our sake, but also being himself. He
Yeah.
People said that fighting style would not translate well into the UFC, but he still maintained being himself and got a win out of it.
Like people said he couldn't do it, he couldn't succeed, and he still did
Jared
it.
Cannonier, we met him as well. He's very nice, and he's a great, fantastic fighter too. So
Yeah.
like, shout out to him. But I guess someone obviously has to win.
Yeah.
In that regard.
At the end of the day, we have respect for all the fighters. At the end of the day, whoever wins, whoever loses, because they all worked hard to be here, and they're all here they're all in the UFC for a reason. You know, they have talent. So even the people who lost, like, hopefully they bounce back and they win the next one.
And even the people who didn't even necessarily fight, like we met Kaio. His last name's hard to pronounce. Boralo. Yeah.
Boralo.
He would like say hi to us preemptively.
Yeah.
After he met us one time.
Yeah.
If he saw us like again walking around, he'd be like, "Oh, hey."
Yeah.
You know?
And you would think like someone who's tatted up like that, who has like a
scary.
neck tattoo, it would be scary. He
Literally
was one of the
sweetest
nicest people ever.
Yeah.
He was so chill. He was just a chill dude, saying hi to everybody, taking pictures with everybody. You know, like if you see someone like that walking down the street, you wouldn't necessarily think that, although that's like a nice person, but this guy was really nice.
Yeah.
And he was one of the backup fighters, I think. That's why he was.
I think he weighed in. I don't know why he was weighing in, but maybe he was set for backup.
He was like a backup, I think.
In case somebody fell out of the middleweight competition between DDP and Hamzat. But that was really nice to see. And I'm trying to think of, man, first of all, the fact that we met Alex Pereira.
Oh my God.
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, I forgot about that. He's
What a
so
legend.
tall. He's like a tree.
He's literally a giant. And
He's a tree.
When I saw him, it just reminds me of Groot. He's just like a solid, tall, like just
very
unit.
tall.
But just very calm, like very like.
He's just like, I'm just chilling.
Very calm demeanor. Like it's not that he was extra like overtly nice, but he wasn't mean. He's like accepted like
people were
pictures
taking
and stuff
pictures
like
with
that.
him. Yeah.
And he just seems pretty chill, and that's just how his personality
Yeah.
is. He's
he's going to be in UFC 320.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
So against Ankalev, that's another moment of another Muslim guy just going,
Yeah.
taking everything. But that'll
is
be
he
a fun fight.
Dagestani or something? Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. He's one of the Russians.
He's one of the Russian
Russian no
fighters.
mustache having guys.
Yeah.
But
Very.
he seems pretty chill. I haven't seen much about Ankalev to know like make an opinion about him.
Yeah, me neither.
But I do like Pereira a lot, so
Yeah.
we'll see.
But yeah, Pereira was like, it was just like funny because I've seen like other people online, like on TikTok, take pictures with him, and he has like the same face in every picture.
Yeah, he's just
like,
very
I'm just
cool,
here.
calm demeanor, and
Yeah.
I like him a lot.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of who else.
DC. We saw DC.
I saw DC, but he was busy, so I didn't want to bother him.
He was like on the phone, but he smiled at me.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Well, we met Uriah Faber, and so I was a big fan of the Ultimate Fighter show, where for those who don't know, it's kind of like the Love Island version of UFC, but it's like a reality show where a lot of up and coming fighters are kind of contending for a spot to be in the UFC, and they all kind of live in the same house, and there's a lot of drama in that.
Yeah.
But one of the coaches of that was a fighter named Uriah Faber, and during his season, the coach of the opposite team was Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
So that was one of my first kind of introductions into kind of learning about lesser known fighters. And so I was a big fan of like Uriah Faber and his team. So to see him, and he was super sweet. He was like, "Oh, I like your outfits," and he was like very nice. And even seeing him in passing in other places, he'd be like, "Oh, hey."
Yeah, you'd be like, "Hey, what's up?"
So I felt like, I'm part of this world. I'm part of the UFC
it felt
world
cool
now.
to be immersed in that world and just be like, "Hey, I'm just part of this community."
Yeah. So he was very nice, and like I said, most fighters are very humble and kind of open to conversation and stuff like that. And I think it was also nice that probably the preliminary fighters had like us like coming up to them and saying like, "Hey, can we get a picture?" Because they probably are not as obviously famous as the other main cards.
Yeah.
So it probably gives them kind of more kind of drive, like, "Oh, there's people supporting me in my things." Even if I didn't know them before, I felt kind of weird about like taking pictures of with someone I didn't know, but she was like advocating for it. And I kind of am happy that she did, because now we can root for people with a more kind of like interactive kind of degree. Like, oh, we met this person, we know that they're a nice person. Otherwise, we would have just let them pass by. So that was something that I learned from all of this. Is like,
me too.
It's okay to kind of reach out to people if you're just a fan of what they do, but kind of also respect their like kind of boundaries and not like, oh, can we get a picture? Like already starting a video or taking videos of them as they're walking by without their permission.
Like, for example, like Hamzat's security guard was telling people absolutely no photos and videos, right? But there were people who are still taking pictures and videos of him. And I really wanted to take one, but I was like, no, I'm going to respect the fact that that's the decision that him and his team made. Like, I'm not going to go up in his face and take a video of him like walking from point A to point B.
Or like start begging. Like some people are like begging for a picture.
They were like, please, can I get a photo? Like I came all the way from here. And I get it. Honestly, like I would want,
but there's not even like a meet and greet necessarily. So unless they're just chilling,
you should just respect like people's
their boundaries.
Space.
And
at the end of the day, they are human beings. Like you can't force somebody to take a photo with you or a video. And despite how much you want, you know, like I really wanted one too, but I was, you know, I have respect for their decision that they made, and they made it for a reason. And you have to respect people in their personal space.
Yeah. And for example, like Asakura.
Yeah.
He was very humble and nice, but he didn't want to take pictures. But he was like, "Oh, so sorry. Like, I don't want to take a picture."
Yeah.
And I completely like respect that. So it's kind of like just like a mutual respect of both ways on how like a fighter should operate with a fan and how a fan should operate with the fighter, or just any celebrity in general. Because like then you're borderline just becoming a paparazzi to them. Yeah. As opposed to respecting them for what they do. And
also like the fact that like they are in the hotel and that's like where they're living for the time, like for the time being before the fight.
Like we're just hanging out like there, but like that's where they're trying to
like recover. Yeah. They're like still training.
Focusing on
trying to make weight.
They're going to put themselves in a violent, dangerous position, and they need to get themselves in the right headspace.
Yeah. So I get
not to bother them.
Yeah. Like I get it if certain people don't want to take pictures. They just want to get in the right mindset.
Yeah. So I think overall there was like a few other fighters that we met.
The female fighters were really nice.
Yeah,
they were so sweet. And it was really cool to see them as well as a female myself.
Yeah.
And seeing them fight and just seeing like, you know, recognizing again certain like positions and movements that we learned in jiu-jitsu. I had a lot of appreciation for that. So I enjoyed all the fights and the female ones.
I think this is a good kind of like stepping stone into kind of being more immersed in this world. And I want to be like more involved and learn more about training and kind of take it to a more like integral part of life. And because a lot of people have their own hobbies. And I think this is just like a good way of doing so, because it's good for like to be active and to get exercise, but also kind of mentally get to those spaces of like taking care of yourself in a quote unquote dangerous situation.
Yeah.
Like, even if it's just in training. And I think that helps a lot, just with life in general. So
like self-defense, like how to react in certain situations.
Yeah. And even just like in life in general, like you're going to be put in tough situations, is how to stay calm.
Yeah. I also feel like martial arts has made me more confident, even at work. Like, I feel like I'm just like more confident in like all aspects of my life because of martial arts. Cause I'm like, if I could do this, if I could train jiu-jitsu, boxing and Muay Thai, like, and I'm, you know, we're put in like situations where we're like so tired and we're like sore, we're in pain. If I could do that, why can't I be confident in other areas of my life? Like, why can't I go through tough situations in my life? And even in work, like, I feel like I'm finding myself more confident too in different like meetings and conversations.
Yeah. And it also puts things into perspective. Like if someone's like a boss, just like saying stuff to you, like these are just words. I've dealt with being physically attacked.
I've dealt being put in an armbar,
getting punched in the face.
I've dealt being choked.
Yeah. Like getting put into like a weird, like, your leg's about to snap position. Like I could deal with you telling me like, oh, what's up with this Excel sheet? Yeah. You know, but just in life in general, I think it's very helpful. And
there's a lot of life lessons in martial arts.
Yeah. And so I think a core of this, like the moral of the podcast is to kind of like, for those who are not necessarily a fan, to give them an insight of like what this world is like, as opposed to kind of the general consensus of like, it's merely just violence for violence sake.
Or like, it's just for entertainment purposes. Yeah. There is an aspect of entertainment to it, but it's not just that. Yeah. There's a lot more to it.
But I think we covered a lot, and I think we're at an hour. So
yeah, nice.
If there's anything else you want to talk about, I also, maybe if it's a sneak peek, I think you want to kind of interview more people or like talk to more people about the martial arts world. So that may be something for you guys to look out for.
Yeah.
That might be coming
That'll
soon.
be fun and exciting stuff coming up.
All right. Well, if there's any kind of final messages that you want or to give, or you kind of covered it.
I don't know.
The ending's always awkward for me. I never know how to stick
What
the
am I
ending.
supposed to say? Like, why don't you go first?
Okay. The final message is to, if you haven't subscribed already, subscribe. Give this episode a like. Leave a comment. Share with people. And yeah, just keep on tuning in.
Yeah.
At Danger Knock on Instagram, at Acro. If you're here, you already know who I am. So
Follow me, guys, too.
Okay. I could put a little thingy.
Yeah, follow me too.
But yeah, I think that's it.
I'm trying to think of a final message. Like, I want to do.
Yeah.
I want to say something like inspirational, but I didn't think about this in advance.
Here, I'll give you like a little like about kind of pursuing things that you know are good for you, even
Despite other people's
despite what
judgment.
people think.
Yeah.
You could talk about
Who
that.
cares what other people think? And my mantra, like, that has been helping me get through this, despite being like judged, especially by like men, or like, I guess in particular, you know, like desi men. Like, who cares what people think? Do what makes you happy, pursue your passions. And my mantra is like, please the creator, not the creation. So if you're like doubting yourself, or live a life to please the creator, not the creation. And I'm always thinking about that when I'm put in situations where I feel like I'm being judged, like, or people are saying like weird things to me. I'm like, I don't care what you think. I only care what God thinks. I'm not here to please you. I'm here to please God. And God knows my intention with training, right? I don't have any bad intentions with it. I'm doing it
Not
for
looking
me.
for a fight.
Yeah. And I'm not doing it like, for any bad intentions. So I'm not trying to please anybody else, and I don't care what other people say. I don't know if that was like an aggressive.
No, that's very good. Sometimes you need to battle some aggression with kind of standing.
Yeah.
Sometimes in this world,
Like,
standing firm
Yeah.
seems aggressive to some people.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, how dare you even stand up for yourself? You should be
Yeah.
sitting down. So
Yeah.
they'll label your standing up as an act of aggression as
Yeah.
opposed to them attacking you.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of what happens in the world in general. Just people defending themselves are painted in the light. Like, how dare you even have the right to defend yourself? Not
Yeah.
even in terms of physically, but like defending your stances on things, defending
Yeah.
your ideologies, defending just how you choose to operate
Yeah.
in your own life.
Like, more females should be doing martial arts. More females should be doing jujitsu. We need to know how to defend ourselves. And it's just really great, like, mentally, physically, spiritually. I think in all aspects of your life, it
Yeah.
really does help improve. I feel like that way, at least. But yeah, my mantra is live a life to please the creator, not the creation. So that's my inspirational quote that I'm saying at the end.
That's perfect.
Yay.
We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Peace.
That was good.
That was good.
Yeah, good job. I can't believe that was